Hi everybody, Joy Bowen here. I just finished Strength 45 and I thought I would come here and just look. I even have mascara like all over my face because I've been sweating like a pig. I just wanted to come here and talk about something that has just stuck with me since a little discussion that we had in our coach test group. And Chris was talking to us, Chris Downing, who is our trainer, and he has been in it every day with us, you guys. Like, I truly believe there has never been a test group like this one, and there probably will never be another one like this one. The way that he has invested personally in all of us has been like way above any expectation I think any of us had in the group. But he got on Sunday night. Hey babe, I miss you. Andrew just flew out this morning. Now he's tuning in. He had a talk with us on Sunday night. He always tries to do a live chat with us. He goes live every day in the post, at least like once or twice. But on Sunday, he does like a set time live where like he has a bigger discussion that goes like about 20 minutes or so. And he was talking about how, I think this is a myth that so many people think. He was talking about how there were several people in our group, several coaches, who, when we got into round 2, started having some major struggles with food and kind of backsliding a little bit into old habits, and like that old nature was just kind of resurfacing. It was kind of like you get complacent a little bit in your journey, and suddenly you're, kind of thinking and justifying things like, oh, I can have a bite of that, it won't really matter, or I can have a glass of wine, I'll be okay, or whatever. And before you know it, you kind of like slide off track. And what I thought was so interesting is that the reason why that gets us so sidetracked is, and first of all, a lot of people think coaches like get it perfect. No, we surely don't. We are susceptible to all the things that every normal person is susceptible to. We have moments of weakness. We just are connected in community that encourages us to like fight for it. I think that's the difference maker, is that, instead of feeling alone in that, we've learned to lean into a community of people who will help us process through it and get back on track faster. But what I thought was so interesting is that, we've been talking a lot about how when you are not loving yourself well, when you are not striving to become a better person, that manifests in other areas of your life. It affects the relationships with your spouse. It affects your relationships with your kids. It affects your relationship with other people, because there is a misalignment between your desires, your goals, if you will, to, do something, and the physical choices that you're making. And when your physical choices don't align with your spirit, then there is frustration, there's depression, there's lack of motivation, because your actions aren't meeting up with your goals in life. And when that misalignment happens, then that distension in your spirit, that frustration and depression and all that stuff, it shows up in other relationships, because you drag all of that into every life circumstance. And so what we've been talking a lot about is that if your physical choices have to line up with your internal manifestation. Like if you want to achieve something in your life, whatever that may be, your physical choices, the actions have to match. Otherwise, there's a misalignment in your spirit, and that kind of shows up in the world. Now, when you make the shift and you align your choices with your goals, well, that also shows up in the world. It improves relationships. It improves, your vibe attracts your tribe. We talk about that all the time. And so when you are aligned with your choices and what your goals are for you personally, I know this sounds kind of super like woo, but then that is when you are able to like shift to the next level. That's when other people around you shift to the next level too. It's so interesting to me. Most of the conversations we've had throughout this test group experience with people in our circles is that they are longing for a mental shift more than they are longing possibly for a physical shift. Isn't that interesting? That people actually have this craving or desire for their choices, their physical choices in life to align with the desires of their heart. It is a mental journey, you guys, and we've been talking about that all the time, right? And so, I don't know, I'm just kind of rambling on here, but one, I wanted to tell you, like, hello, coaches are real people too, and we have the same discussions in our test groups that we have in our challenge groups. But, anytime that you feel yourself getting off balance or making poor choices or like stepping out of alignment, you know what Chris was reminding us, that I absolutely agree. It's like you're not desperate enough for change. You don't want it bad enough. If you're not willing to align your choices with the desires of your heart, then you don't want it bad enough. Like, you're sabotaging yourself. And so, what he was reminding us of is that there is a greatness, inside of all of us, and that we should be so like getting our warrior on and so like diligent about making sure that we are aware that that old nature, that old self, those choices that we used to make. I mean, like, we've got, for myself, I'm 45 years old. I got 45 years of history making poor choices, right? So I'm really silly if I think that they're not going to show up today and I'm not going to be like, oh, I really want a bite of that cookie or whatever, but when you consciously make a decision to change some things in your life, then when those old behaviors pop up, you shouldn't be like frustrated with them. You should be like, hello, old self. I was wondering when you were going to show up. Nice to see you. Good try. Not going to happen today because I already made the decision that I am a new person and that I am walking in a new direction and a new path, and you're not going to take me out this time. Not this day. Not today. And so anyway, we shouldn't be caught off guard by the fact that we're tempted. Of course we're going to be tempted. Of course, like, all those old habits are going to pop up. Of course we're going to have moments of weakness and moments of doubt and all that stuff. But when that surfaces, like once you've made that mental shift where you're like, I get it, then it shouldn't take you off guard. You should be like, well, thank you for the opportunity to revisit you, old self. Hello, you're not me anymore. That's the old person. I'm walking in new life right now. I'm walking in new life right now. And that's pretty powerful. And you know what? Chris was reminding us, and I totally agree with this, and I don't mean anything disrespectful about any of what I'm about to say, but I am going to say it. You're like, uh-oh. There are so many people out there who are self-medicating with food, alcohol, who are numbing their emotions, who are even on antidepressants. We've had family members who've had to be, for legitimate reasons, on antidepressants. So I'm not anti-antidepressants if you need them. I'm just saying, when you make the shift, when you align your physical choices with your spirit, with what you want to achieve in life, you don't need any of that crap, because you are in alignment with the will of God for your life. Truly. You don't need any of that. You don't have to wrestle with depression. You don't have to wrestle with numbing your emotions. You don't have to numb yourself or self-medicate with food or alcohol, because people are trying in so many different ways to feel the amount of energy that Andrew and I are feeling right now after going through Shift Shop, that I just want to I woke up burdened, just feeling the weight of the world in my spirit this morning, because I was like, gosh, there's so many people who could benefit from an experience like this, and how fortunate am I to get to walk through this journey, and what a responsibility I have to pass it out like candy. Oh my gosh, where the mind goes, the body will follow. And that has been the core of this test group experience, and it has been life-changing. I'm not even saying that lightly. It has been a revelation of all that God wants for you in your life. And so, yeah, those are just my thoughts today after Strength 45. But mostly it just feels I'm propping my phone up on my knee right now because my arms are so sore that I cannot hold the phone up without shaking like a leaf. All that to say, if you are desiring an alignment between your physical choices and your spirit, you have got to connect with someone. I've said this in multiple platforms. I don't even care if it's not us. I don't care if it's some other coach in the world. Go find somebody who is going to be organizing a group for Shift Shop and go make some positive changes in your life. There is no reason why you have to waste one single more day feeling trapped or stuck or in a ditch. You can absolutely take steps to align your physical choices with your spirit. And when you do that, you're walking in God's purpose for your life. So, all that to say, go do it. Find somebody you love, that you resonate with, that you've seen online or whatever, and say, plug me in. When you're desperate enough for change in your life, you don't even care. You're like, just plug me in. Like, whatever you're talking about, I need that in my life. You know what I'm saying? It's like, like there's not a single chance that Andrew and I are going to, like, not make the most of this opportunity to, one, better ourselves, because we know that the more disciplined we are for ourselves and the better that we become, like, that will trickle out into the people that we love. That will trickle out into our team. Like, that'll make our team better. That'll make our challenges better. That'll make our family better. Like, we know that the stakes are super high because we feel it in our spirit. And so don't waste one single day. Like, just taking that 5 seconds of courage to try something new is all it takes. It's a decision, and the action will follow. All right, those are Joy's rambles for today. That's all I got. I love you guys. Bye.